Hey, Eagles fans, I'm John Vittas, joined today with women's basketball head coach Karl Smesko. Coach joining us from home, of course. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a little bit over a month since your season abruptly ended, of course, due to the coronavirus concerns. A disappointing finish for what was one of your best teams you've had in your 2+ decades in Fort Myers. First of all, just to give those seniors some due, because it was an unbelievable group, some of the best players you've ever had in your program. What was that last week like? Because you were about to play in the conference championship game. Obviously, had high aspirations to win a couple of games in the NCAA tournament as well. Dealing with all that news and the seniors seeing their seasons end in a really disappointing way, what was that all like?
Well, it was a very unusual circumstance, and things were moving rapidly. Things were very fluid. I can remember Coach Lyles coming to my office maybe a week or two before the end of conference play, saying Chicago State canceled a game out in Washington or something like that, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is probably going to get pretty serious here. And once you got to the conference tournament, you'd see one conference after another start to cancel their tournaments. So it was just a thing that none of us have ever experienced. So our team did a really good job staying focused on what they could control. And even the day that we found out we weren't playing, we had a practice to prepare for Liberty, and it was one of our best practices of the year. I thought everybody's really excited about the possibility of the ASUN tournament championship, but this pandemic was a very serious matter, and it needed to be addressed, and basketball became secondary.
Now, you did make the decision to kind of celebrate a conference championship. I don't think anybody would dispute that you guys were the best team in the conference, but you cutting down the nets in front of no fans, flip-flops, T-shirts, instead of your uniforms in front of cameras and all. What was that like? It had to be bittersweet. And on a more positive note, 8 of your players graduated here in May. So do you take some solace in knowing that they've accomplished a lot more than just going 30-3 on the basketball court?
Well, yes, obviously we were dejected that the season was over because we still had some goals to reach, but we decided to approach it in a different manner, that we were going to celebrate the part of the season that we did get to have. And it was an amazing season. And our players did a great job this year, and our assistant coaches did an amazing job to make it a successful season. And one of the regrets I had is when we won the regular season championship, we didn't celebrate it at all. We were going to wait until after we won the conference tournament and secured the NCAA tournament. So when we found out there was going to be no conference tournament championship game, we decided to celebrate our regular season champion. There'd be only one ASUN champion decided on the court that year, and it was us. And I wanted us to get to experience, the joy of accomplishment, even though we didn't get to finish other goals. And I thought it went really well. It was kind of an emotional day, but I thought everybody was in good spirits. There was dancing, there was, tears, smiles, everything that you could hope for. As for the graduation, really proud of our players. They performed well in the classroom, and I wish we could have had graduation so I could see them walk across that stage, but I congratulated them, and they know that I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, that degree still counts for a whole lot, even if they didn't get to walk, and that's just kind of the way things are these days. Now, you have to turn the page from one of your best groups ever to a completely fresh roster. Only one player returns with more than 3 points per game from last year. So it's going to be an interesting mix of some returners who played limited minutes for you this past season, but also a couple of really talented transfers. One's a graduate transfer from Bowling Green, Andrea Cecil, who had 11 20-point games last year, obviously at the Division I level. And then a junior college guard named TK Morehouse, who averaged 21 points per game, albeit at the junior college level. I would imagine those two will play significant roles for you right away. What skill sets are they bringing to Fort Myers?
Well, TK Morehouse, junior college first team All-American. She's a really explosive athlete. You know, she has like Davion Wingate speed, and she definitely has a scorer's mentality, but she shares the ball really well too. And she's just an exceptional athlete and has had an exceptional career at Western Nebraska. And we're really excited for, you know, her to be able to help us continue to have great pace and play with great speed and play an exciting style. Andrea is a very accomplished Division I player. She sat out this year due to an injury, but the year before she averaged close to 16 points a game. She's 6'1", can handle the ball, was a 40% three-point shooter. She just had, the last time she was able to play, she just had an exceptional season, and she fits in really well with how we play. She can really stretch the floor and drive it, and, you know, she's going to be a good defender and rebounder for us. So we're really counting on those two to come in, along with, you know, our returners are really excited about the opportunity to show what they're capable of doing. We had a lot of returners that maybe didn't play a lot last year, but they're still really good players. They just happen to be behind some of the best players we've ever had in the program. So now will be their opportunity to take a step up and show what they can do. And we also have 3 freshmen that are really talented players who I think really fit in with our style of play. And that's Tamia Johnson, Seneca Hackley, Maddie Antonucci. I think they will be somebody that'll be, or they will be a group that will be fun to watch.
So you mentioned the 3 freshmen, 2 from Colorado Springs with a long track record of winning at the high school level, and then all those returners, Kirsty Phils, who started for you on last year's team, and then a bunch of players who came off the bench that, like you said, will see bigger minutes, Tyra Cox, Alyssa Blair, Tanner Bryant, Emma List, and more. Now, you obviously can't practice right now, and hopefully you'll get a chance to get some normal practices in before the season eventually begins. But what are the biggest challenges right now in evaluating what you have and making a plan going forward? Because obviously you can't be out on the court. And once you do get out there, real quick, what are you looking for to determine who's going to get those minutes?
Well, you know, we're not doing anything this summer as of now. You know, we're always hoping that something will happen and we'll be able to do our summer workouts. We do a lot of skill development during the summer, but, you know, realistically that could be put on hold. You know, we're hoping that things return in the fall and we're able to, you know, get together. You know, one thing for us, and with the pandemic that's going on, is we have so many new players. If this was a year ago, it wouldn't affect us that dramatically because we had so many returning players that we had in the program, and we kind of picked up really quickly from where we had left off. This year, we got to incorporate a lot of new players into the mix, so getting them to gel is going to require some time. So, you know, when we get back might make a big difference on how successful we are. And as for what we're looking for, we're just looking for players that, you know, compete, understand the value of the basketball, can play the game efficiently, can play the game as a good teammate. And obviously they got to have skills and competitiveness, and we'll just have a lot of good players, hopefully, and they'll compete in practice, and, you know, the best ones will end up playing the most.
Head coach of the women's basketball program at FGCU, Karl Smesko, thanks for joining us today. Stay busy during this time, stay safe as well, and we can't wait to see your team back out on the court sometime this upcoming school year. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.